Hi there, it's Mark Wickersham here, and in this video I want to share with you some thoughts on how we reprice our existing clients, how we move them across to value pricing. The reason why most accountants and bookkeepers are worried about putting their prices up is because they're worried about losing clients, which is understandable. We don't want to lose business. However, we need to recognise, firstly, we're way too cheap as a profession. We're working crazy long hours for too little money because of the old-fashioned way of pricing. We have to, for our own sanity, we have to put our prices up. And that's also the right thing from the customer's point of view, because when we put our prices up, we can afford to do more. It's probably the single most common question I get from accountants, bookkeepers on value pricing. How do we transfer the existing clients? And the reason for that is very simple. It is challenging. It's difficult. It's hard to make this transition because your existing clients have kind of got a frame of reference. We can find a way to reprice those, get the prices up. We can have a very big impact on profitability of the firm. So that's where we should really focus. If we think about it, what does value pricing mean? Value pricing means coming up with a price that's based on the value to the customer. And therefore, the more value that we have for our customer, then quite right, the price should be higher. It's a win-win situation. Both parties win when we value price. Whereas the old-fashioned way of pricing based on how long a job takes, it's of no interest to the customer of how long the work takes. So value pricing is actually a fairer way of pricing, and it's a win-win situation. So the transition to value pricing is actually easier than we think. The problem is very often in our heads. Because one of the things we know is the old-fashioned way of pricing based on the hour, is most accountants, most bookkeepers are way too cheap, which is why, and it's probably you as well, are working crazy long hours for too little money. So the real question is this: so how do we put our prices up with our existing clients? And so the first strategy we have to undertake is something called reframing. Reframing simply means that we have to change their frame of reference around last year's price. Whatever you price this year, then they're going to judge that price based on what last year's price was. And if you're putting your price up, that will seem expensive because last year's price is what psychologists call an anchor or a reference price. And our job with reframing is to destroy that anchor, to get them thinking about a different focus. We want to make it difficult to compare this year to last year. The good news is there are dozens of strategies that we can use in the area of reframing. So I'll give you a couple to get started with. The first one is we should repackage what we do in a different way. And a great strategy is what I call menu pricing. So if last year the client bought one set of stuff, let's call it bookkeeping, for example, your bookkeeping services, what we now do this year is we give them some choices. We create some different options because people love choice. So I call this menu pricing, giving people different packages. You may have heard of it as a bronze, silver, gold version if you like. The strategy is this, is you tell them that the entry level or the bronze level is what they had last year. But you might take a few things out. So in this bronze level, we have the bare essentials. We strip out any of the frills that they don't need because we tend to do too much for customers. We tend to sell them a Rolls Royce for the price of a Mini. So what we want to do is create an entry level which is aimed at people on that tighter budget. And I would recommend that level, you would price perhaps a similar price to last year. I would actually recommend 2 or 3% higher because we have something called inflation. So we should actually factor that in. What you'll find is most people won't choose this one. But it's there so that those customers that are on a tighter budget, it's there as an option for them. But then we have a middle option. And what we want to do is think about, what does the customer really want from us? What more could we possibly do? How could we add more value? How could we help them get a better result? We might know from talking to our customer that they're having challenges with cash flow, and it may be we can give advice around helping them improve cash flow. And so our middle option, we build in some extra things, some consulting work or some advisory work or something, of things that we know they want. And that level should be priced at typically 20% more than last year's price. And then what we do is we create a top level, a premium set level, a gold level if you like. And what we do here is we think about, what else do we know the client should have which we know will completely change their life, will make a huge difference to their business, help them increase their profits, reduce their taxes, whatever it might well be. And we create this premium service that we know is the very, very best service for them. Some clients might still choose the cheapest one, and that's fine. But actually what we know from research is most customers actually want more value. They want more from their accountant, they want more from their bookkeeper, they want more from you. And so they will willingly choose to pay a higher price for one of the other two packages. Most people gravitate towards the middle option. It feels the safest one. And as long as we do it right and build enough value in there, clients will choose to pay you a higher price. And so some of your clients, more than you expect, will choose to buy the one that might be 30, 40, 50% higher because they want more value. And so by giving the customer a choice, they feel they're in control. The customers that value what you do will pay you a higher price. Those that perhaps have got less cash available, they'll still go for the cheap one. You don't lose customers, but what you tend to find is that on average, people will pay you a higher price. So that's a strategy that we can use in what's called reframing. Another strategy we can use with reframing is making it hard to compare the numbers. So let's say, for example, last year you charged a client $2,000. And this year you know you have to put your price up by 20%. Well, 20% on $2,000 is $2,400. But what we don't do is tell the client it's $2,400 because that's an easy comparison between $2,400 and $2,000. Instead, what we do is we describe the price as, for example, a monthly investment of $200 per month. Now, when you describe the price as $200 per month, people see it as being a lower price than the $2,000 last year because they compare the $200 with the $2,000. So simply the way that we express the price can have a huge impact on people's perception of it. And that's reframing. The other strategy when we're increasing our prices is something called framing and communication. This is something different now. Framing is how we structure the conversation around the price increase. And words are really important. Again, we learn this from psychologists, is that we associate less pain with something, for example, a price rise, that will take place at a future date in time. So the greater the period of time gap between telling the client that the price is going up and the price then going up, the less perceived pain. I had an interesting situation some time ago. Back in May 2018, Amazon Prime, and you may be aware of this, they put their prices up. And I saw an interesting post on a Facebook page from a bookkeeper in the US, and she posted a screenshot of a message she'd got from Amazon. And it said, "Hi there, just to let you know that in May 2018, we're putting up the price of Amazon Prime from $99 to $119. But because you're such a great customer, this won't apply to you until May 2019. Now, the interesting thing with that Facebook post is this particular lady that posted this, she put a comment alongside it. The comment was this. She said essentially, "Wow, this is why I love Amazon. And this has increased my loyalty. I love Amazon. I love Amazon Prime." Now, if we stop and think about that for a minute, what's really going on here? What's happening is Amazon are putting up their price by 20%, from $99 to $119. It's going up by 20%. And this lady, this bookkeeper, is saying, "I love Amazon, they have bought my loyalty." Kind of doesn't make sense. They're putting the price up by 20%, and actually this customer loves it. And all they've done is they understand framing. What they've said is two things in that piece. They said, yes, they're putting the price up by 20%, but it's the way that they framed the conversation. The fact they said that, firstly, you're a great customer. People love to be told they're great customers. So that's putting this lady in a positive frame of mind right from the outset. And secondly, they're saying that because you're a great customer, this price rise won't affect you until 12 months later. And so that's lessened the pain. She's thinking she's getting a special deal here, but they're putting the price up, essentially. So this is framing. The language that we use, the way we communicate price rises makes it much, much easier. If we're pricing too cheap, we have to keep cutting corners to do it as quickly as possible, and that's not in the customer's best interest. But also we have to recognize that what are customers really buying from an accountant, from a bookkeeper? They're buying a relationship. If an accountant puts their price up, there's a relationship, there's an emotional connection with that professional advisor. So if you're good at what you do and your clients like you, very few, very often none, will leave for a small price increase, particularly if what you do as part of that price increase is aimed to do more to give the client more. That's what value pricing is all about. It's a win-win situation.